Hello everyone, and welcome to week 2 of PUDL, where we take on DanW and his team. Give me 1 second. Why am I forgetting the team names now? The Detroit Linoones. Yeah, so we're taking on DanW and is it DanW, Daniel, something like that, and his team, the Detroit Linoones. Very interesting team here. We have a King Gambit, a Dragonite, an Enamorus, the incarnate form, Hisuian Bravery, Slowking, Mian Shao, Porygon 2, a Hisuian Decidueye that can terrestrialize into a fighting, ice, and flying type, a Sandslash Alola that can terrestrialize into an ice, ghost, or water type, and a Hisuian Avalugg that can terrestrialize into an ice, ghost, or water type. Same terrors. Yeah, so let's get into the team that we are bringing for week 2. First of all, we have Hunter the Arcanine. We are an AV rock headset with Flare Blitz, Head Smash, Wild Charge, and Flame Charge. We are max attack adamant, and we have a decent amount of HP and decent amount of speed investment. Flare Blitz plus Head Smash do really strong into his team. Head Smash especially just hits everything so hard. I think the only resists are like Mian Shao, Hisuian Decidueye, and King Gambit. And 2 of those are weak to Flare Blitz. So it's really solid. Wild Charge is also really nice for the Slowking, which I do think is going to be his answer to Arcanine this week, like a Fizz Def Slowking. We have Flame Charge, because after a Flame Charge, we outspeed everything on his team unless they're Scarfed, which is really nice. And yeah, that's Arcanine's job, is just to come in, be able to take hits with AV. We should be able to live a Scald from a Slowking with AV, which is really nice in our investment. And just be able to click Head Smashes, click Flare Blitzes, just deal a lot of damage, which is really nice. Potentially get a Flame Charge and just put it in a really strong position. Next up, we have Bellybolt, Rad the Bellybolt, which is our only Terra Captain this week. We are just Terra Electric, because he has no ground type, and his only resist is Hisuian Decidueye. So Terra Electric Volt Switches, which we are bringing, hit very hard, even without investment. We have Slack Off for Recovery, and we have Dual Screens, just because screens look really nice this game. Just being able to screen and get into some of our other setup mons is really solid. It also just allows, just because how threatening Bellybolt is, it's almost always forcing a swap, and that allows us to get a screen up for free. We are max for death on this. It also is our swap into the Hisuian Bravery, which could be a big threat. If we can get a live screen up though, we should be able to deal with it, and we can just start Volt Switching on it, because it's not Terra Captain, which is really nice. So yep, that is Rad's role this week. Next up, we have Tar for Serendipity, making its first Pokemon that's making its debut this week. We are lefties, and we are max Def once again. We're Alluring Voice, which we are Alluring Voice of a Moonblast, because it allows us to unspeed things like Dragonite and potentially stop it D-dancing, because we're gonna confuse it if they do. Things like Enamorus, if they wanna be like a physical superpower set, that is also gonna get confused, which is really nice. We have Heat Wave, which allows us to hit things like Alola and Sandslash on the swap, and also the King Gambit that wants to come in and potentially get a burn, which would be really nice. We have Roost for recovery, and we have U-turn once again to just do a little bit of chip, potentially get proc that 30% chance to get a Toxic Chain or something, which is really nice as well. Yeah, and that's a set for Tar this week. Next up, we have Quicksilver. We have changed the name to Silver because of the whole Astro Ninja thing. And I pretty sure last week I was literally screaming at my opponent that I was Protein or Torrent. It is unfortunate that we are bringing Battle Bond the week that we make the change, so our opponent could immediately think, oh, he's Battle Bond. But going forward, even if we are Protean, we'll be using this name. But the full name is Quicksilver. It's just a shortened version. We are Life Orb, Max Special Attack Modest, which allows us to outspeed everything on this team, because its high speed is Enamorus at 106, and we outspeed it by 1 point at max speed without Timid, which is really nice. We have Surf, Double Pulse, Ice Beam, Water Shuriken. Surf fits really well into his team. The stuff that does resist, the stuff like Slowking is weak to Dark Pulse, and things like Dragonite, which also want to resist the Surf, are weak to Ice Beam, so that's nice. Water Shuriken also allows us to have that priority move, and also be able to potentially finish something off to be able to proc our Battle Bond boost, get that +1 speed and special attack. That's really important to us. And then at that point, we're just really breaking really well with the Greninja, so that's really nice. Next up, we have not Max Fizz Def, we have Speed Investment to always outspeed Dragonite, but like a very defensive Garchomp set running is also Garchomp's debut. Running special Garchomp for its debut. We are running obviously Draco, Power Gem, Flamethrower. The idea of being special this week is that I do think they has to bring Max Fizz Def Slowking to have any chance of dealing with my Hisuian Arcanine. So we do hit a little bit harder with a Draco rather than a EQ spam. I will always be swapping because we don't want to take an Ice Beam. But we have Power. Another thing is that Avalugg, which could potentially come in and try and wall us by being a physical wall. Power Gem 2 does do over 50, and the Draco Meteor after will KO, just because of how poor the thing's special defense is. So we could catch that potentially, which is really, really nice. Flamethrower is there because we could, if he doesn't Terra Sand Slash, that could take a lot. King Gambit is also really, really nice for. A few other things as well, like Hisuian Decidueye that might want to come in. And yeah, that's the main things that we hit. Rocks are also really, really solid. He has so many flying types. Like, I think it's like 3 flying types, and one of his Pokemon can Terastallize into flying type. And he's got a bunch of ice types. So yeah, rocks are really, really solid this game. And finally, we have our lead for this game in a very interesting set, making his debut, Saber the Tauros Aqua Paldea form. Such a long name. We are Mirror Herb. And that's because we're Intimidate. We want to potentially copy a Defiant boost from King Gambit. That's the idea. If we copy a Defiant boost from King Gambit, get a Trailblaze, get +1 speed, we outspeed basically everything on his team. And Raging Bull, Close Combat, Wild Charge are able to pick off most things unless they're specifically built to take on +2 hits from this. Like we KO Enamorus with Raging Bull, we KO King Gambit with Fighting Moves, stuff like that. Like we hit really, really hard into his team. And yeah, that is the plan for Tauros. So that is the team for week 2, and I'll see you lot all in the battle. Hello everyone, and welcome to week 2 of PUDL, where we take on Dan. Very, very intrigued to see what he brings. Let's see. Do see Enam, do see Dragonite, do see King Gambit. Which is nice to see. Hopefully it's Defiant. It'll be helpful. Mian Shao is here. No Avalugg. Sand Slash. So how many Terracopters does he bring? It's just a Sand Slash, right? Yeah, that's Ice, Ghost, Water. And Slowking. So what did he not bring? No Bravery is really, really nice. No Decidueye, no Porygon. That was a big one that I thought could be a solid counter to my shenanigans. So rocks can come from Sand Slash or King Gambit. So I do want to lead my Tauros immediately because it's solid into both options. Let me double check I'm recording. I am indeed. And yeah, let's pull up the calc. Pull up Tauros. Pull up Gambit. Yeah, we're in a solid position. Let's just lead with the Tauros. Contrary Enamorus could be a really, it's probably the worst lead for us. Just because it's a physical boost, and if it's Contrary, it's probably physical. But if it's physical, it shouldn't do too much to my... Let's have a look. What is the lead? It's Slowking. Okay, solid lead for him. We're going to get Intimidate off on this. But that's fine by me. That's not going to do much. We could just immediately go into Belly Bolt here. I'm expecting this to be like Max Fizz Def. Here, if he doesn't have a Psychic move, he doesn't do too much to me. If he does have a Psychic move, like just straight up Psychic does way too much. Wild Charge is only doing like 40% to Max Fizz Def. If we go into our Belly Bolt, we shouldn't be taking much. Volt Switch does a good chunk. We're just going to go straight into Belly Bolt here. And we're just going to immediately kind of gauge what kind of set this is. Could just be immediate Chilly Reception, which will be annoying. It's a Future Sight. Okay, Future Sight. That is not good. Future Sight. We'll still, if he's not invested, it still does like about 25. We could get a screen up here. He is very physical, so I'm just gonna immediately go for a light. Wait. Yeah, I'm going to go for a Reflect here. He is just going to stay in. Okay. We're just going to get our streams up then. That's fine. It is the Chili Reception, so we're learning a bit more about the set. We haven't seen item. We haven't seen ability. It's probably regen. Most likely regen. Can't be oblivious. Oh, can't be oblivious or own temper. It's definitely regen because both are immune to intimidate. So he goes right into Sand Slash. We are behind a screen here. Could just be immediate terror. We have a Reflect up. Earthquake is doing 23.2 if he's max attack. Part of me wants to get my light screen up, but part of me also just wants the Volt Switch. We do a good chunk if he's not offensive. We can just Terra and Volt Switch, right? Terra Electric Volt Switch. If he is offensive, does 50%. I don't mind that at all. We're going to click it. It looks like he does not terrestrialize, so that kind of tells me he's probably Terra Water if he's not terrestrializing here. Or he's just Ice and he doesn't want to click it immediately to keep his typing. What does he click here? It's Rocks. Okay, so he does have Rocks. We're just going to see Stealth Rocks from this. And he's going to take... Oh, that's a crit. Crit does 50. Okay. A crit doing 50 is very, very interesting. He's probably Slush Rush. Volt Switch on a crit. Is that like max HP? It looks like a little bit more. So it could be like AV. We can just go into this. How much are we doing with the ball? Good chunk. He is in snow. That's also a good thing to remember. So we're not doing as much. But we are going to get an Intimidate here. This isn't doing much damage. Are we going to see lefties, anything like that? We are going to take the future. Okay, I did not know we were taking the future side. I completely forgot. That might be a throw of the game. That might be throw of the game. We might have just thrown the game immediately. Because that's really, really bad. This is bad. This is really bad. We can go into this again. There's a few things we can go into. I don't want to pull the Arcanine trigger early. Yep, losing Tauros is terrible. To a future site. How much does the Dark Pulse do here? Dark Pulse should KO. Even if he's max HP. He doesn't have the greatest answers. Surf also would KO. If we get this boost, we're in a good position. Part of me wants to almost Ice Beam predict here. I think there's no reason to do that. We're just going to click a Dark Pulse. He is just going to let us KO this? He is! We're going to get Battle Bond boost. This is deadly. We're in a really good position, especially behind a Reflect. So we do take a KO. And we are +1 speed, attack, and special attack. And we are behind a Reflect. We do see Enam come out. If this is Scarf, this should also outspeed. Missing has to be like Super Speed F to live a Ice Beam from here. So I'm going to click it. We do just hit it. We just KO. We are just going to... Oh, I thought that was Sash for a second. But no, we do just KO Enamorous. Okay, so we're in a really good position here. We have kind of recovered. Enam being gone is really, really big. Enam plus Sandslash. We're going to see Mian Shao come out. Mian Shao. This is not faster. This dies to a Surf. If this isn't offensive. If this is AV or something, it does live. We're just going to Surf here. It's Fake Out. Okay. And he's Life Orb. Good info. Snow stops. Part of me wants a Dark Pulse really badly. Ice Beam would kill. But there's no reason to click Ice Beam. Part of me really wants a Dark Pulse on a prediction here. But I don't think there's a reason to. I think Surf is just better. I'm going to Surf. We are just going to Surf. This should KO. We are going to get the KO. Okay, so that's 3 down. Greninja's breaking really well here. So he has Slowking, which probably... Does that die to a Dark Pulse? If it's Fizz Def, it does. Dragonite comes out. Does this live? A Ice Beam? Could be E-Speed. That's another big thing. Do we still have our Reflect turns? We do have two turns of Reflect left. Ice Beam would KO through non-bulky multiscale. And let's see if it is bulky. There is no bulk on that Dragonite. That's just dead. Greninja has 4 kills here. That's really, really big. Slowking does die to a Dark Pulse. King Gambit could Sucker Punch through here. Supreme Overlord King Gambit. So, okay. King Gambit. Swords Dance. Supreme Overlord. 4 allies dead. We're 95 HP. If this is max attack, Adamant, Supreme Overlord, it does 22. We're at 33. So this has to be like Bandit to KO. And Surf is a roll to kill. Okay. If he's... He does Sucker Punch. Doesn't KO. Surf is a roll. Okay, that's like AV. That is AV. We're gonna get a Water Shuriken though. So some extra chip with Water Shuriken here. So if he clicks Sucker Punch, this is gonna fail. We're gonna get 2 hits. Okay, that's unfortunate. But yeah, it gets 2 hits, which is fine. But this thing is not like 50. We don't see lefties or anything. I think there has to be AV. Let me double check though. Should have calc damage, like max assault burst. Why didn't he go here sooner though? If he's like AV, yeah, that looks like AV damage, max HP AV. I don't mind going Garchomp here. This is pretty nice for Garchomp. We do just Flamethrower, I think. We could Draco predicting. I don't think there's any reason to play around this. Any damage right now is damage that will bring us closer to KOing. We're just gonna Flamethrower. He does Sucker Punch. That's gonna be Rough Skin damage. And he should die to Rough Skin here. Rocky Helmet as well, so it does die. And Arcanine should be able to clean up this game. And it's now a question of how much do we want to try saving ourselves. Let us double check how much a Future Sight would do to my Tauros. Because that basically KO'd from full. Future Sight is a kill, even if it's 0. Okay. This depends how do I really want to play around this, or do I just want to get my damage with a Draco? How much am I doing if he's Fizz Def? We're doing like 27 to 30%. I'm gonna get that damage. And that looks kind of Spadef actually. It is Scald. He gets a burn, doesn't really matter. Do we see lefties or anything like that? No, we do not. How much did I do exactly? We did just over 25. So this does have Spadef investment. And now I'm at -2. We're just still clicking Draco. If he's slack off's good play. He just scolds. Okay, so belly bolt kills? Question mark. Volt switch, Terra Electric. Doesn't quite KO, but there's nothing he's doing back to us. And we can Volt Switch here. We should never be dying to any one hit, and we just get Volt Switch damage. This should be game. Oh, we're faster. Okay. Good information. And we're just going to KO. Okay, that's fine. Crit, I don't know if it mattered. Depends on his spread. But we are going to win that game. I believe it's a 3-0. 3-0, good game. We played poorly. That Tauros should never have happened. But GG's to Dan. Great game. Good to get our bounce back game after our loss in week 1. So we are back to 1-1. And that puts us in a much better position going into week 3. But yeah, I'll see you lot all for that game. Bye-bye.